I guess I'll just participate with whatever topics are at hand. I know that he was talking a little bit about the death penalty earlier.
Uh-huh.
Any of the other topics would be fine.
Well, I kind of need some direction. Give me a little bit of what you might want to say to Mark.
Hmm.
You can't just say, hey, I'll talk about whatever. It doesn't
Okay.
work that way. Sorry. I know you can. I mean, I trust that you can, but
Okay.
I
We'll
gotta know
go.
something.
We'll go with the death penalty then.
Okay. You think he overreached, or you think, what do you think?
Hmm. I think that I disagree just on the point that it is more of just a gauge of what a society is able to do, how it treats those that are least among us, and that is not just something that applies to people who are disabled, elderly. It also applies to those people that we hold in contempt because they break the law and do things which we find morally reputable.
Right. So you think the governor is doing the right thing?
I think that the governor is in the wrong there because he is in the executive and he should be enforcing whatever the laws of his state or his own area should be that have
Okay.
been passed. That is not his role.
All right. Let me get you on hold. What's your name?
Tyler Moore,
Tyler, or where are you calling from?
Burleson.
All right, Tyler. Put you on hold. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
There is so there's Herman. Really, really. In Burleson, Tyler, Mark Davis, you're on WBAP. Welcome.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Well, to start off, I would like to say that, at least from what I heard regarding the governor of Oregon, I agree with you on that point right there. As the executive of his state, it's not his responsibility nor his right to change what the law is. He should simply be applying whatever his legislature has decided.
Thank you.
Now, beyond that, I do disagree with you on the death penalty. I guess you might say that I'm a horrible, dirty hippie on this particular issue
I wouldn't say
here.
that at all. There are many thoroughly thoughtful people who oppose the death penalty. I'm always curious as to why. So let's engage in that with you. Why do you believe the death penalty is wrong?
I think now this is getting away from any particular instance here, which such as the those two adolescents here in Dallas. Or while I was waiting, I looked and I saw the most recent news item regarding Oregon was a woman who tortured and murdered her 15-year-old daughter that received a death penalty. But on a fundamental basis, I don't think that any system is perfect enough to guarantee the death penalty is 100% equally applied and appropriate, especially given the due process that our justice system currently operates in.
All right, let's pause for a second. Equally applied is interesting. Usually
Well,
when
you
people
hear a
talk-
lot of
No,
people.
no,
Oh,
no,
go ahead.
Sit tight, we have plenty of time. Usually when people talk about the human imperfection of the system, which is always a good point, they talk about being absolutely rock solid certain that we're executing people who are guilty. I think that's a valid point. I believe that execution ought to be not just beyond a reasonable doubt, but beyond the shadow of a doubt. You're going at it a slightly different way, which I hear a lot also, and that is the notion of equally applied. What is the definition of a death penalty equally applied?
I think that a definition of equally applied does include the 100% certainty of the beyond a shadow of a doubt. Now, that does not fall on you or me in a given instance. That burden does not even fall on the person who perpetrated this crime or their family or even the lawyers or judge involved in this. This falls on 12 randomly selected people. Now, as far as the equally applied aspect of it,
Okay, another quick pause.
Yes, sir.
The jury is indeed the turnstile through which justice is done, but the responsibility falls on the prosecution. It is the responsibility of the prosecution to convince the jury, to persuade the jury that the defendant deserves execution. The jury then does with that whatever they want.
right, what you're describing right there is just the normal operation of a court proceeding, and it falls on the prosecution to make that case the same way that it falls on the defense to put that shadow of a doubt in their mind. And because of that,
Then 12, and if I'm hearing you right, the sort of 12 human beings just thrown together in a room seems like a dicey premise on which to determine someone's life or death. Do I kind of have that right?
no, sir. What the reason? Oh, no. And the reason I bring those people up is that they, as citizens, of course, have the responsibility to serve their jury time on there. But just because they've been randomly selected, put on here, does not mean that they are in a position to really make that that judgment as an individual. And some people will, like in the jury selection process. Let me just finish this this last sentence here. The jury selection process, of course, is intended to get those people out of there who are not in either a good emotional state or a good mental state to make that.
I think I had it exactly right 60 seconds ago, and it's fine. It's a good point to make that you view the human frailty of the jury system as being an improper platform on which to say you will live and you will die. I mean, and that's a principled view to hold. I would suggest, though, that if you feel that way, our entire justice system is shot full of holes.
No, sir. I said on the individual level. On the individual level, it is. But with 12 people, it distributes it.
I get to finish a sentence too, and I love you. We both will. If that's those same 12 imperfect people are deciding bank robberies and rapes and car thefts every day. It's the system we have. It's the only system we have. The definition of a justice system is that humans are going to decide the fate of other people. So I don't know. Is there some magic computer we could invent that would magically know whether murderers are guilty?
I'm not in favor of a computer or any other.
And I'm being cartoonish about that in excess. Do murderers deserve to die? Is really the only question. If they do, our human system is the only way for that to happen.
Well, to take it back to the equally applied portion, which was your first question to me, is that many advocates against the death penalty come from a specific niche saying that, oh, well, in the South, people of color will be unjustly put to death for the same crime, essentially, for someone that a white person will not be put to death for. And without addressing any particular instance of this right here, I think that what that contributes to is these arguments contribute to dissent from that system, from the perceived unjust operation of it.
I think you have a very good point there. And in fact, if it were in Mississippi in 1964, you have a magnificent point. However, in the America of 2011, the notion of an enormous disparity between the justice that black folks and white folks get, I think, is largely overstated. Does it still exist? Is there still some disparity? There may well be in this human imperfect system. But the question then becomes, because of that, do we execute no one? Do we absolutely say, all right, because of that, we will execute no one?
Well, that goes to my personal feelings more on it, that, again, no system is 100% perfect, and with the death penalty, it is something that cannot be retroactively given, say, any sort of compensation for, which just recently in the last few weeks I remember hearing about the gentleman. I don't remember exactly how long he was in prison for, but he was getting a few $100,000, I believe, and he was wanting more as a result of it. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't really blame him, but if you're dead, there's nothing we can do for you.
Exactly.
Thoughtful stuff. You're a wonderful call, man. Get with me anytime, and I really appreciate you.
Thank you very much, sir. You have a good day.
Traffic time now, as we say hi to Tiffany Reynolds.